Right, let's do a transfer roundup. Blade January transfer roundup. This is the second one we've done for the January transfer window. This time, midfielders. One of them, you could argue, can also play as a striker. We'll get to him last. And these aren't just players that maybe I would like to see us sign. That's immaterial. It's players that we've actually been linked with. The rumours are out there. We're going to start with Tyler Morton. Tyler Scott Morton, to give him his full name. Liverpool's Tyler Morton, 6'1". He's 22. His birthday's on the 31st of October. He is from Merseyside, and he is actually a Liverpool supporter. That might play into whether he actually wants to leave on a long-term deal one day. Probably not. Morton, who's been in Liverpool's academy since he was just 7 years old. He joined them in 2009. He might be like a 𝗤𝗿𝗏𝗏 situation. He might recognise that his chances of being a regular at Liverpool when he's a bit older are limited, perhaps not at all, and he might have to leave for the good of his career. He's primarily a central or defensive midfielder. In January of 2021, he signed a new long-term contract with the club. He wears the squad number 80, and that might tell you where he is on the pecking order, although squad numbers mean very little for Liverpool players. Just look at Trent Alexander-Arnold. Morton has made 3 appearances for the Reds. All 3 came in the EFL Cup. One of these was quite memorable for the youngster, as Morton got an assist for 𝗬𝗍𝐶𝐿 𝗍𝐵𝐿 in the 4th round against Brighton. Last season, the right-footed Morton was loaned to Hull City, the Tigers, for a season in the Championship. So he's experienced the Championship before. The defensive midfielder made 39 appearances. Hull fans will get their opinion on what they thought of him and if he could cut it very soon. But he did score 3 goals, made 5 assists. I would say, looking at that, 39 appearances, getting 3 goals and 5 assists, that's a pretty integral part of the Tigers' side. Prior to his Hull City loan, Morton spent the 2022-23 season on loan at Blackburn Rovers. Again, more Championship experience. Morton played 40 times in the league, made 4 FA Cup and 2 EFL Cup appearances, and he was a part of that Blackburn side that came to beautiful downtown Bramall Lane in the FA Cup quarter-finals in 2023. And there you go, I'm mentioning Tommy Doyle again. He's played in a number of different positions. He's played in central midfield, defensive midfield. He can play on the right of midfield. He's played centre-back twice, and he actually played as an attacking midfielder once in the early part of his career. But he's very much a defence-minded player. He made his England under-20 debut during a 2-0 defeat to Portugal in the 2021-22 under-20 Elite League season. In November of 2023, Morton made his England under-21 debut. And another thing that I thought was interesting about him is he's played in a 4-2-3-1 as a defensive midfielder before. So he knows the system. This is important. He knows the league. This would be, if we signed him, cover, I believe, for the injured Oliver Arblaster. Give Morton useful experience. Now, would Sheffield United look to buy him? I've already mentioned his attachment, his love for Liverpool Football Club, but I think he's going to have to think bigger picture. Let's look at a breakdown of the games he's played. So games, goals, and assists. 46 for Blackburn. He got 4 crucial assists. Hull, I've already mentioned. 3 goals, 5 assists. For the Liverpool under-21s, he played 40 times. 9 goals for a defensive midfielder, 9 assists. For the under-18s, he played 23 times. Again, this is Liverpool's under-19s. 6 goals, 7 assists. And for the Liverpool first team, in total, he did manage to get 1 assist, that 𝗬𝗍𝐿 𝗍𝐵𝐿 one. Now, the Hull and Back podcast shared this with me about Tyler. Great player. Very surprised he didn't get a Premier League move in the summer, although Liverpool reportedly want big money. I don't know how much they'd actually want. Composed in possession, great passing range, and thrives in that deep-lying playmaker role. Very defensive, broke through into the England under-21s whilst with us. When given license to go forward, he did contribute with goals too. Defensively, can sometimes be a bit rash, can miss time tackles, had a fantastic first 6 months, slightly quieter in his last 6 months with Hull, but the whole team dropped off in fairness. Fantastic Championship player, and in my opinion, a future Premier League player. That's the Hull and Back podcast with their thoughts on the first player we've looked at, Tyler Morton. Let's move on. Matthew Craig, a 21-year-old, right-footed, 6-foot-tall defensive midfielder, born in Barnet, began his youth career with Watford, then went to Tottenham when he was just 12. He's a youth international for Scotland. I mean, you have to be if you're from Barnet. Matthew has an identical twin brother called Michael. They were born 2 minutes apart on the 16th of March, 2003. Michael's also a professional footballer for Reading and also a midfielder as well. And when it comes to playing for Scotland, which Matthew has done through the youth age ranges, he said of he and his brother's international allegiance, both my grandparents are Scottish. Obviously, once Scotland came calling, it was a big honour to be selected. And it's probably unlikely that he'll be selected for England. On the 5th of May 2021, he signed a professional contract with Tottenham. He made his senior and professional debut with Spurs as a late substitute in a 4-1 Premier League win over Leeds United on the 28th of May 2023. On the 9th of January last year, Craig joined League Two club Doncaster Rovers on loan until the end of the season. For Donny, it was 20 appearances, 1 goal, 2 assists. He also picked up 5 yellow cards. Matthew then helped Rovers go on an insane run of wins, registering 13 victories in 16 outings, including a run of 10 consecutive wins, which equaled the club's all-time record. That 1 goal he scored was his first professional goal. It came for Rovers in a 5-1 thrashing of Grimsby Town. On the 22nd of July 2024, Craig joined League One side Barnsley on loan until the end of the season. He's been in the Tykes midfield 16 times, and his contract with Tottenham expires on the 31st of May 2025. Now, we think Tyler Morton looks like a loan. What about Craig? I don't know. It's possible that with the level he's been playing at, he might want to actually test himself in the Championship, and maybe Tottenham might look at it and say it's probably unlikely he's going to get into their midfield anytime soon. In his career, he's demonstrated his versatility. 78 times he's played as a defensive midfielder, which is primarily his position. He's played as a central midfielder 13 times, a right back 9 times. He's even played centre back 7 times, and he can operate at a push at left back, where he's played 5 times. But what's he good at? Well, he's decent in the air. He's good at tackling. He's quite aggressive, got a good anticipation, decision making, and he's got a determined attitude. His fitness has been praised before, and Donny fans also told me they praised his work rate. I'll be honest, he's not top of my list when we look at midfielders. I'm not going to tell you who is. I want you to tell me in the comments of all these players I'm listing, who's number 1 for you. Maybe it's 𝗲𝗲 Chowdhury. 𝗲𝗲 Dewan Chowdhury, born on the 1st of October 1997, a Bangladeshi footballer, but born in Loughborough. He's eligible to play for the Grenada national team through his ancestry. He's now 27. He's a right footer. He's 5'10". He's a midfielder that's been at Leicester City his entire career. He did enjoy some loan spells, but we're going to focus primarily on what he can offer now. But if we go back very briefly, he did play for Burton Albion on a 1-month loan deal in 2016, playing 13 league games. He played for them in League One. He joined Burton again the following season with them then in the Championship. He again played 13 league games. On the 10th of August 2022, he joined Watford on loan for the season. Apparently he was very good there. 37 times he played for Leicester. Away from these 3 loan spells, he's played 131 times, scoring twice with 4 assists. This season, he's made very few appearances, just 3. His goals, 1 came in a Premier League match against Newcastle in a 3-0 win. And what a goal. He just placed it, but from quite far out. And that was back in the 2019-20 season. The other in the Europa League versus AEK Athens, the Greek side, in a 2-1 win back in the 2021 season. Both were away games, so Foxes fans haven't seen him score at home. He is another defensive midfielder, 110 performances that he's made as a defensive midfielder. 72 times he's played in central midfield. So they're quite close, those numbers. He's played at a right back 16 times. Versatility. He has played as a centre back, a right midfielder, and once he was even forced to play left back. He has suffered illness and injury in his career, but nothing to worry about. One that stands out was a knee injury back in 2023 when at Watford, which saw him miss a month of action. He actually missed 6 games. He has 28.6 thousand followers on the artist formerly known as Twitter, X. He is an aggressive player, one highlighted on this channel before as a player that we'd like us to sign, 𝗣𝗿𝗲. 𝗲𝗲 is excellent in the tackle, determined player, high work rate. This is what I've taken from fans have seen him play. Got good stamina, good fitness. Leicester fans have told me he's a leader, brave, a team player. But off the field, on the 19th of January of last year, Chowdhury was caught drink driving and on the wrong side of the road driving. You know, don't want to do that. After leaving his phone behind in a restaurant, apparently he went back. He was given a driving ban and fined £20,000 by Nottingham Magistrates Court. Here's what Leicester fan and fellow YouTuber Locks had to say about him. 𝗲𝗲, Hal, where do I start? A player that will never give up. Someone who will fight for 90 minutes, doing what he does best. And actually, it's what he can only do, which is try and chase the ball and usually win it. a decent championship-level defensive midfielder who can also plug a gap at right back and at centre-back if absolutely necessary. Don't expect him to do anything progressive when he wins the ball back. Thank you, Locks. So he sounds to me like Nick Montgomery. Might be just what we need, particularly with 𝗬𝗲𝗲 out for the season. And, as I'm recording this, we've just lost to Sunderland, and the middle of the park is where we have looked like we're able to be got at, and that would certainly change with those signings, those three that I've mentioned there. Let's finish with a very different one. Louie Barry, League One, leading goal scorer Louie Barry. What a season he's had at Stockport, on loan from Aston Villa, a real live wire, a player I like, a former Barcelona youth wide man, has scored 24 goals in 44 appearances for Dave Challoner's team since joining on loan in the summer of 2023, helping them to promotion last season and into the playoff race during the current campaign. He predominantly plays as a winger who likes to play from the left, cutting inside as he is right-footed, but he can play up front or as an attacking midfielder, or perhaps he can even be more versatile. Let's look at his career position breakdown. 55 times he's played as a left winger and scored 21 goals from the left-hand side of midfield with 12 assists. He's played as a centre-forward only 36 times, but when he has, he's scored 25 goals and got 4 assists. He's also played as a right winger 17 times, 3 goals, 3 assists. He's played as a number 10, an attacking midfielder 7 times and scored 5 goals. He's played slightly deeper as a left midfielder, so not quite a winger, 7 times, scored twice, got 1 assist. He's played as a second striker. He's even played in right midfield, so further back than a winger. He's 21. He won't be 22 until June. He's an England under-18 international. He comes from Sutton Coldfield. He's also represented the Republic of Ireland at youth level. That's probably where he'll maybe go on to represent longer term. We'll wait and see. Having spent a decade in the West Bromwich Albion Academy, which he joined when he was just 6, as I mentioned, he then moved to Barcelona. That was in 2019, becoming the first English player to join and play for La Masia Academy. He had previously been close to joining Paris Saint-Germain. This is a kid who was considered a huge prospect. Barry made his debut for Barca's under-19 side in October of 2019, scored in his first start. Everything went really well for him there, and then COVID struck. The COVID-19 pandemic completely curtailed his time at Barcelona and the youth season, which was then cancelled. So the Aston Villa van subsequently decided, I'm going to get out of Spain, and he joined the Aston Villa Academy in January of 2020, leaving Spain. He's had 2 loan spells since then, away at Ipswich, Swindon Town, MK Dons, Salford, and most recently, as we've spoken about, Stockport County. His stats by club: Stockport, 46 appearances, 25 goals, 7 assists. MK Dons, 32 appearances, 1 goal, 3 assists. For the Aston Villa under-21 side, 22 appearances, 15 goals, 2 assists. Salford, 21 appearances, 2 goals, 1 assist. Swindon Town, 16 appearances, 6 goals, 1 assist. He played for Ipswich 6 times, and he's played for the Aston Villa first team once and scored. So League 2, 53 appearances, 17 goals. League 1, 45 appearances, 15 goals. Now, for Stockport, he's been truly incredible. They love him. Barry broke a post-war club record last season by scoring in 7 consecutive league games and has won 2 League 1 Player of the Month awards in this campaign after scoring 15 goals in 23 league appearances. He's good at shooting. He's good at dribbling with that low centre of gravity, as he is 5'7", a great height for a man. He's got excellent technique, a little bit of flair, and he's really quick and really agile. There's some players to salivate over there. Let me know in the comments out of those who you'd like.